Salisbury Center, we are ready for our next fight. Making his way to the cage and fighting out of the red corner, it's Antonio Hector Fuller.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to Cagezilla 84 for our second fight of the night in a costumed walk-up here by Antonio Hector Fuller. This 0-1 fighter is 22 years old, 5'11", fights out of Capital MMA in Elite Fitness, and I'm excited for this one. We got a fiery opener there with Micah Doyce Jr. claiming victory over Micah Negron, but this is one that I'm just as happy to see as much of a character as Antonio Hector Fuller is, wearing that full gi over to the referee station. We also have a crazy fighter that he's matching up against. It's honestly Vincent.
Yeah, and first, just talking about Antonio Fuller, he's a great kid. I've known him since he was a young kid. He actually started his martial arts in Aikido, training under my father. His father is also named Tony Fuller. Great friends of the family, and they moved. Now he's at Capital MMA and doing great there. I was happy to match him up, happy to have him on, and he's bouncing back off of his lightweight debut. It didn't go his way. Now he's down, I believe, in the correct weight class for him. He's got a great frame here at 145 pounds, and really excited to see this Taekwondo black belt display some of his techniques. There he goes in the cage already. So great stuff. Can't wait to see stuff from Antonio Fuller here, making his featherweight debut. Let's send it to Chris to bring out Honest Abe.
And his opponent, making his way to the cage and fighting out of the blue corner, it's Zach Vincent.
Honest Abe, baby. Yeah, yes. This guy is a guy, let me tell you, Chris, he is always messaging me about getting on every card. He wants to fight kickbox. He wants to fight MMA. He wants to fight Bunchu. A self-trained athlete. He's got his own academy, Abe's Combat Academy. He said he wants to be known as a guy who just didn't need help, a guy who could just do it and make it to the highest level himself. He even wraps his own hands. I was looking at him in the dressing room. He's like, hey, check it out. He showed me the last fight as well, and really excited to have this guy on. I'm sure you've seen him inside this Cagezilla cage before, Chris.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen him much success, though. That is the thing, Brent. For as much as he has this story, this character behind him, and the confidence to tattoo his own last name on his back, which takes a special kind of guy, he has currently gotten off to a 1-3 start to his MMA career, and he's been facing down sequential losses for a while now. I would love to see things turn around, and this could be his opportunity.
Yeah, no, he always comes to bring it. It's a messy fight. He doesn't always come out with the win, but Honest Abe said he's looking to make Antonio honest here in this featherweight fight and welcome him with a harsh welcoming to the featherweight division. Let's send it to Chris to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for three-minute rounds in the Cagezilla featherweight division. It is brought to you by our friends at Southland Insulators, insulation expertise that you can count on. And now, starting out, fighting out of the red corner, standing 5'11" and weighing in at 144 pounds, fighting out of Capital MMA and Elite Fitness, it's Antonio Hector Fuller. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 5'8" and weighing in at 144 pounds, fighting out of Honest Abe's MMA, it's Zach Honest Abe Vincent. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for three-minute rounds in the Cagezilla featherweight division. It is brought to you by Southland Insulators, and your referee is Gabe Balajit.
It's going to be a good one.
I sure hope so. After all those crazy moves you saw pulled off by Antonio just as he entered the ring, I would love to see whether or not he can actually bring those to bear upon Zach Vincent here in round number 1. We've seen one flashy finish. We may be in for another.
Yeah, look at those kicks, man. He's a kicker, and both of these guys are actually good kickers. Vincent's got good kicks as well. So, like I said, something we talked about. Wow.
Shooting for a takedown early in this one. Not actually what I was expecting out of the Taekwondo specialist, but it seems to be working to great advantage. Fuller getting over the guard of Vincent, and now he has back control.
Wow. Not a great spot to start for Zach Vincent. Probably the worst spot. And looks like Antonio's locking up this choke here.
Yeah, this is going to be incredibly difficult to get out of. There's just absolutely no way that Zach Vincent can get away from the cage. And that will be a blaze again to fight number 2, Antonio Hector Fuller.
Wow, great stuff from young Antonio Fuller. Perfect execution, didn't even get touched. And I don't think the fight could have gone any better for him.
Our wonderful announcer, Chris Fuller, taking off the jacket, putting the jacket back on in an instant. None of us expected it to be over that quickly. But I got to say, I'm a little bit disappointed in what we saw out of the blue corner here. Zach Vincent, you know, he has this specific training style. He says he doesn't want to do it with anyone else. He's trying to do it alone. But I got to say, it's pretty hard to fight off back control if you don't have a training buddy here.
Yeah, I mean, throwing some great kicks. He came out throwing great kicks, maybe deceived him into thinking it was going to be a striking battle. And then next thing you know, boom, he was in on the legs, getting him to the ground, putting some ground and pound. Zach, you know, he shouldn't have turned his back, obviously, right? But that he felt like that was the way to get up. And once Antonio secured it, he threw in that body lock, the body triangle with his long legs, and that was all she wrote.
It's incredible just how automatic that was. Even through that flurry of blows, Antonio Fuller reads the situation perfectly. Says, hey, back is given up. I'm going to throw away the ground and pound strategy to get in there and wrap him up like an anaconda.
And what a squeeze. He wasn't necessarily even under the neck. He was just squeezing with all his force. And, man, he must have had a tight squeeze on him. Let's send it on to Chris to call this one officially.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Gabe Balajit has called a stop to the action just 38 seconds into the very first round for your winner by submission due to rear naked choke. Out of the red corner, it's Antonio Hector Fuller.
Congratulations to Antonio Fuller, bringing his record over to 1-1. I'm sure he's going to be trying to break that 50-50 very soon. And hey, with a fast fight like that, you can get back on the card quite quickly. So I'm excited to see both him as well as Zach Vincent back in the cage very soon.
That's right. They'll both probably win on June 28th here at Cagezilla 85. Let's take another look at this one. Wow. He got on that back so quick.
Yeah, unfortunately, Fuller and Zach Vincent's game plan, you know, he's been fighting a lot of Bunshu. He wants to do some kickboxing as well. And I think that maybe one of those outcomes is he may not be ready for this.
Like and subscribe to Cagezilla.